Hi class, welcome to week 6. Okay, so moving right along. During week 5, we put our illustrative skills to work creating our first compositional layout. Now, it's important to understand the difference between an individual illustration and applying and using illustration in the compositional layout. Compositional layout is typically a larger format, an entire page instead of adding one illustration to a page. We're talking about designing the entire page, right? So in week 5, we started with the poster. The main takeaway from compositional layout is the use of typography and the use of the grid. Okay, the grid is your best friend as a graphic designer. I promise you, I'm telling the truth. It always comes back to the grid. I'm going to be honest with you. I have not started a design project in 25 years where I haven't designed the grid first. Okay, it's that important. Now, a lot of students think that using the grid is going to impede creativity or create some sort of rigidity in your layouts, and that's just not true. The grid is simply a tool to ensure proper intervals in breaks, as well as to ensure expeditious alignment of the design elements in your page. So again, grid is very, very important and directly applicable to compositional layout. What's an infographic? Okay, so at any rate, that wasn't much of a transition. So let's transition like this. We're going to go from the poster to a little more of a detailed, more specified discipline called infographic. Okay, and what is an infographic? An infographic, is simply put, it's a visual representation of information or data. Okay, that is critical. It's got to have a data set or a set of information that you're going to visually represent. Okay, more specifically, an infographic is a collection of imagery, charts, and minimal text that gives an easy to understand overview of a relatively complex topic. Why do we use infographics? Pretty simple, a little hit list right there. Definitely, and once you read through this, it will definitely make sense. Now, at this point, I'm going to show you some examples. But before I do that, I highly recommend this assignment more than any other assignment in the course, that you get out there and get your research done quickly and early in the week. The success of this assignment is going to be directly correlated with the amount of time you spend researching. Not only researching the data that you're going to represent, but researching infographics itself. Now, this is not a full-blown class on infographics. It's a small section of a class on infographics. So keeping that in mind, you don't want to get too complex in your research, okay? So just keep in mind we're spending 1 week on infographics, okay? So don't spend 4 days researching how to create infographics. Do you see what I'm saying? Plan your time accordingly, I guess is the best way to put that. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look. So I'll talk about the assignment in a second, but let's take a look at an infographic. This is a great infographic, and if you take a look at really what it's doing is it's showing you the fruits that are in season by each month of the year. Okay, the months, there's a key right here indicating the color of the month. Okay, and then so January is the most outer ring. Okay, February is the next ring, and we go in these concentric circles representing the 12 months, right? Then on the outside, we have a little illustration as well as the word that's depicting the fruit. And then we follow that down and it shows you the months that fruit is in season, okay? So this is basically representing one data set in a given time period. So the data set is fruits and the time period is the 12 months, okay? Let me take a look at this one over here. And this one's a little different. This one is a little bit more applicable to our assignment. Our assignment, we're going to be representing 2 data sets over a period of time. Okay, so as you can see, this example, in a second example, we'll show 2 variables over a period of time. For example, average rainfall of a UV and UV index over a 12-month period. So in this one, you can see the key is right here. These are the months, okay? These fit with the bottom graphic and the top graphic. The bottom graphic is depicting average rainfall, and the top graphic is depicting UV index. Okay, so you can see we are depicting 2 variable data sets in a given time period. Okay, really important. This is really directly applicable to our assignment. I'll go over that a little bit more. Here's another one that's applicable to our assignment. Actually, these last two are, and this one is spent out. It's got two variable data sets. Okay, so it's male and female, and then it's hours spent online per week. Okay, so we're going to see hours spent online per week by age and gender. Okay, here's your age. Then male and female is depicted by the color, and then the hours spent are depicted on this scale. So it's really a super interesting way to quickly look to see how boys and girls are spending their time online based on what? Their age. You got it. Okay, this is a really fun one. And I included this one here because I think it's really important for you to understand it. It doesn't have to be, a graph. It doesn't have to be a rigid infographic structure. It can be more fun, kind of more organic, so to speak. This is a great one. This one actually does it. It compares two data variables. One is raising a baby, and one is raising a fur baby. Theoretically, this does include a time span because it's talking about raising a baby or raising a puppy. So the time span here would be from the time that the baby is an infant to the time that they're a toddler, perhaps, and the time that the puppy is from a puppy to the time it's a small dog, right? So there is a time frame involved here. This is really fun. This has got concentric circles, which data on the left for raising a baby, data on the right for raising your dog, and data in the middle that is kind of common to both, so to speak, okay? So as you can see, the idea here is to gather data sets and plan how you'll display the data sets over time. Listen, guys, as you can see, there's going to be a lot of planning here. There's no right or wrong. Actually, I shouldn't say there's no wrong way to do it because there is a wrong way to do it. But there's many, many, many hundreds and hundreds of different ways to represent data. So for this reason, I just think it's really important to reinforce the fact that you want to plan what you're going to represent, okay? Then get your data set down. It's not going to be feasible for you to try to create time data for the project, okay? So in other words, if you're trying to gauge two variables over a week's time and you're trying to record that data, you're not going to have time because you only have a week for the project. Does that make sense? So gather data that's pre-existing or something that you can really, something like this where you have knowledge of what it takes, okay? And then I've got these four graphics right here. I'm sorry, three resources and then this video. And again, these are a great place to get started. Once again, I'm sorry, I sound like a broken record, I know, but it's so important to get out there and get some visual research done. Take a look at some examples of infographics. Determine what they're trying to tell you. Determine the data they're representing. Determine the time frame they're representing, and to a high degree, determine yourself if they're successful or not, or how you could make them more successful. Do you see what I'm saying? So research is of the utmost importance in this regard. Okay, then we have our week 6 plan. That's our week 6 tasks and our week 6 course schedule, as well as a little kind of sneak preview of what we have coming up next week. So at this point, I'm going to jump over to the course announcement. As you can see, please review Welcome to One course announcements for descriptions, caveats, examples, tips, and tricks associated with the assignment. So that's over there. We've got examples and everything else, but this is your assignment guidelines. If you have any questions, please let me know. But and that's really all I have for week 6. I can jump back over here and we can take a quick look at our tasks. Weekly week 6 checklist, of course. Then we have our lecture. That's a PDF document regarding information on infographics. Very, very important. There's some resources in there. Please take a look at that. Discussion forum, self-explanatory. Don't need to get into that. Visual critique, again, self-explanatory. And then, of course, we have our week 6 quiz. Okay? All right, guys, fantastic. If anybody has any questions at all, please let me know. I'll see you guys in class. Thank you.